This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What is going on, everybody, guys and girls? Welcome back to the WWE Podcast. This is the typical SmackDown review team, Michael Ritter and John Carrasco, but this is not a SmackDown review. We're here doing a bonus episode for you guys to end 2022 the right way. Now, we talked about it months ago that we wanted to do a top 5 themed little fun exercise here. We're going to do a stock investment draft. And the way that's going to work is John and I are going to alternate picks. One of us is going to get heads. One of us is going to get tails. I hope you actually have a coin on you or something. We'll be able to flip that. But either way, one of us is going to start off first, and the other one will obviously get the second pick. And we are going to take turns drafting superstars from the main roster. Male, female, they're all in this pool here together. You could draft them whenever you want. But basically, I'm going to end up with 5. John's going to end up with 5. And we're going to see how this draft works out. But yeah, this is a stock investment draft. So where does that come from? Basically, self-explanatory. We're trying to invest our stock into one of these superstars, one of these wrestlers. Like, who do we feel like is going to have a phenomenal 2023? Who are we willing to buy stock into right now, where we stand here in December? But as always, I am one of the hosts of the SmackDown Review here on the WWE Podcast, Michael Ritter. You can find me on Twitter at Michael5Ritter, and also one of the hosts of the Football Function Podcast, available on all of your podcasting platforms, including Patreon if you prefer an ad-free experience and want to become a certified funky. But joining me on today's episode, my typical co-host for the SmackDown Review, John Carrasco. You can find him on Twitter at Big Speaker, BIGG_speaker. John, how you doing? Are you ready to have some fun?
Oh yeah, man, definitely. Kind of excited to see how this is gonna go. It's kind of just gonna be winging it for me, I guess you could say. I mean, of course, I got the names and everything like that. Trying to give it a little bit of explanation, I guess you could say, but. Yeah, man, I mean, this is a whole new format to me, and I'm excited to do it with you, and I guess I do want that number 1 draft, or pick, I guess you should say, to be the most exciting one.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see who you have in mind for that number 1 pick, because I'll go ahead and let you have it, just because we don't have a coin on us. I thought about doing some rock, paper, scissors, but I'm kind of curious to who you would take first overall. Now, are we going in this with basically like champions are off limits, or like top guys are off limits, guys who've already reached the mountaintop?
I wouldn't. Oh, I considered some names in there, I guess you could say. Like,
that have already.
Because, I mean, we're still trendy, man. I guess you could say we're some of these storylines, we still got some stuff going on. Maybe we can trump some stuff that's going on or that's went on this past year and stuff like that. So, yeah, I had it on.
Okay, well, I'm interested. I'll let you go ahead and do your thing, but I kind of wanted to set the parameters and kind of just know kind of where we were going with this. Like, obviously, I mean, I don't expect Roman Reigns to be drafted. Like, obviously, he should be someone who like you would expect to be off limits. Like those just because the nature of this exercise is to maybe because obviously Roman Reigns stock like if it were like the actual stock market, it's like buying stock in something that's already like extremely established. Mm-hmm. You want to buy stock that's low right now. You want to buy stock in superstars that you could get a pretty big bang for your buck and end up getting a pretty big return on.
And by you meaning this, like you're basically saying like who's just going to have the biggest overall year, correct?
I mean, who's going to get pushed? Like it doesn't necessarily mean world championships. Like it could just be like, damn, like they took a massive step forward and clearly like they were featured
just
like
career-wise.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Okay.
Like for an example, it was like 2020. Had we done this, Bianca Belair is the example because she went on to have a massive 2021 and even a big 2022 as well. But that was when she got called up to the main roster. Was at the end of 2020. So that's kind of where we are right now. Okay. So I mean, this isn't going to be a super long episode. I don't expect it to be longer than 20 minutes. It could be. I don't really know honestly, but It's not a SmackDown review or a review show, anything like that. We're just, a little bit of fun. So we're going to just run through this bad boy. John, the floor is yours. Is the pick in?
I got my pick.
Who is it?
Okay, do we have to do this in a SmackDown Raw way or just an overall roster?
Overall roster. Okay. You can say what show they're on if you want, but you don't necessarily have to.
Okay, because I did pick a certain amount from this side and a certain amount from this side, I guess, just if we're going that way. But if I was to pick my number one, lowest stock, I'm going to invest in Solo Sikoa.
Solo, first pick.
Yes,
okay.
And I do believe it's just going to be involving with the bloodline and everything like that. And, of course, him eventually taking that IC title off of Gunther and just holding that for a good amount of time, too. That's what I see for him in the future. Of course, the minor details are sticking with creative, I guess you could say. But, yeah, that's how I see it playing out for this year.
Okay, I like that. So the first of these 10 picks, that's what we're doing here is just 10 total picks, 5 each. And John starts it off with Solo. I could see why. He's somebody that I definitely have written down here just because his I feel like what he can bring is a legitimate threat to Gunther. Like somebody who obviously isn't going to chase his cousin's Undisputed Championship or Universal Championship, whatever phrasing you want to call it nowadays. He's not going to go after Roman Reigns anytime soon, but to begin 2023, he could be somebody who I feel like, sets his sights on somebody like Gunther, one of those mid-card championships, or, just get some type of push and maybe be booked somewhat like how Batista was booked back whenever he was in Evolution. You'll get there here in your rewatch.
Gotcha.
Whenever he burst onto the scene with Evolution, he was just the absolute example of an enforcer, of a, I guess, muscle of a group, and just literally, figuratively, the way he looked.
Yeah, I can.
It was just but he was a hell of an addition to Evolution. And I feel like Solo kind of has that vibe. Even his entrance, like the way Batista came, was Goldberg was a thorn in Triple H's side, and Triple H put a bounty on his head, $250,000 bounty. Said anybody who takes Goldberg out, anybody who puts him on the shelf, gets this $250,000. And Dave Batista is the guy who ended up doing it. Well, fast forward to however many years later, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Seems like Drew is about to, wasn't this at Crown Jewel or something, Clash at the Castle? I don't know exactly which one this was, where Solo made his debut. But it was at one of the overseas ones, if I'm not mistaken. And it looked like Drew was going to win this. Yeah. And Solo comes in, cheats him out, and next thing you know, he's in the bloodline. So I feel like there is some good logic behind that being your first pick, and I definitely have him on there. And yeah, low stock right now. He could give you a pretty big return of investment. Now, I'm gonna keep things on SmackDown.
Okay.
I'm gonna have the number 2 pick be on SmackDown as well. Somebody who I think is probably going to cut the best promos of the entire calendar 2023 year. I'm going with L.A. Knight as my first pick here. I truly do believe that he is somebody, he's starting off with Bray Wyatt in this program, and people are already kind of saying, okay, well, we're ready to see Bray get in the ring. We're ready to see Bray Wyatt, stop only cutting promos and have him this version of himself. Excuse me, I guess is what I've seen a little bit on the internet. Not everybody feels that way, but there are people who are kind of getting impatient with it. So I do feel like they are going to kind of maybe kick it into a higher gear to start the new year. And LA Knight's going to move on from Bray Wyatt to likely a title opportunity. And I don't know if he has, the tools in his tool bag to knock off somebody like Gunther, who I just mentioned with your first pick with Solo. But I do believe that he, without a doubt, has something. He has that it factor. It's almost like Chris Jericho. And I'm not saying they're similar in the ring, but just whenever you heard Chris Jericho talk on the mic, you almost knew this doesn't feel scripted. This feels like this dude is really saying it. And whether it was scripted or not, that's all about Chris Jericho's ability to deliver a promo. And I see those same similarities with LA Knight. I'm on board. Definitely making him my first pick.
Okay, yeah, definitely not mad at that. I did have him on the list and everything. And I agree. I can't see him with the title, not going to say that part of it, but agreeing with the mouthpiece and everything like that. Of course, I feel like he paints the picture for us in a perfect way, I guess you could say. But the whole storyline that he got going on with Bray right now, it's definitely got me hooked. And like I've mentioned in the reviews before, the Maximum Male Models didn't do it for me, just being introduced to him and everything like that. But now, we're in this little situation over here, him doing his own thing. Yeah, man, he's doing it, and I can see that.
Well, who is going to be your second pick, the number 3 overall pick in this draft?
Man, this one's tough right here. I don't even know. It might sound kind of dumb, but
I don't believe there's such thing as a reach in this draft, by the way.
I'm going to go with Edge on this one.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he's nowhere to be seen right now, And, of course, we got this whole build-up with the Judgment Day, and I felt like maybe that name for that group was given to that group from Edge for a reason.
Yeah.
And the retirement, all that stuff that's going to be involved with this year, him coming back and everything, I think it's just going to be big.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going, like I said, I don't believe there's any reaches, any wrong picks. That was a curveball, to say the least, a little bit out of left field, just because the part-time label next to his name. That's why it's hard for me to get behind him necessarily having a quote-unquote big year. He might have some big moments in that year. Maybe
a
like
retirement year. He's going to go out with a bang, I think.
Hey, you have a point there. Maybe you're onto something. Like I said, you definitely caught me off guard there. My second pick, the number 4 overall pick in this draft, I'm going with Montez Ford.
Okay.
He, like, physique-wise, he is shifting. He's evolving into a new stage in his career. I've seen this happen with several people. Like when Triple H tore his quad, go look at Triple H before that injury and after that injury. Now, obviously, there was like a massive 6-7 month rehab, maybe even longer, where he really put on some weight and became like a super heavyweight in the WWE. Montez Ford isn't there yet. I still believe he's kind of, he's on that Randy Orton trajectory in terms of his body type. I always thought those two kind of had similarities. I mentioned that way back when I started doing this show. I kind of compared Randy Orton and Montez Ford, and I think that Montez Ford might have a little bit of a heel turn coming up here pretty soon. I don't want to, completely speak into existence, but, I mean, are we just going to continue doing the Street Profits forever? Montez Ford is clearly the better of the two. Nothing against Angelo Dawkins, but it is what it is. This is a stock investment draft. I wouldn't put any stock into Angelo. I'd put more stock into him than somebody like, Top Dollar or, one of the other newer guys who showed up here recently. But, man, I don't know. Just something about Montez Ford. I feel like that turn is coming. He's going to have a heel run in 2023. Likely is going to lead to a singles championship. He is possibly a dark horse to have a good run in the Rumble. You don't always win it that first year. Sometimes with the Rumble, it's a multiple-year thing where you have like a certain amount of eliminations. You last a certain amount of time. And they say, oh, he came so close to winning it, and they use it video packages the following year, trying to hype you up. And this could be the first year where Montez Ford has a pretty damn good, Royal Rumble, or just beginning of the 2023. And then towards the end of 2023, we really see him kick it into another gear. But I have to take Ford off the board here.
Okay, see, that one was a definite curveball for me. I'm not saying, of course, Montez Ford is, I guess you could say, that low of a stock in this. But, like, him being a part of the Street Profits, like, whenever you just say Street Profits, that's just the person I think of course, like you were saying, being over Angelo Dawkins and everything like that. But I feel like the tag team is needed for him right now. I don't feel like he has, like, actually gotten to that point to where he can be a singles, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm not saying that he couldn't. I mean, dude, he got some little comedy in him and stuff like that. He comes with a good approach. But I think seeing him as a tag team, as at this point, my part of the WWE thing, that's how I see him. So, yeah. That was definitely a weird little curve for me.
Okay. Well, you have the 5th pick, and you're going to close out the first half of this draft. So, who you rolling with?
Okay, on my 5th pick, man, I'm going to say Alexa Bliss.
Oh, Alexa.
Yeah. I just feel like, the whole Bray, I know they're on different shows and everything like that, but some way this little story or little character twist that they got going on is going to somehow like mingle together, I guess you could say, and then I just think it's going to be a good year for her. She's already in the right approach of going for the women's championship against Bianca. So maybe she can probably take that thing off her, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be a long reign, but I do see just a good year for her.
See, I don't have anything wrong with that pick, especially because she does look like she's turning into something else. Like we're seeing like the Bray Wyatt references and things like that. Like there's definitely been signs that she's going to turn.
It might be I'm just jumping too early, you know.
Might be,
but I mean, I just see, you know, down the road.
Yeah, for sure. See, I won't fault you for that pick at all. I do totally understand that. I mean, she is somebody who I feel like a championship run has been kind of overdue for her. She had like 5 in a 2-year span, and now it's like she hasn't touched it in 2 years. So seems a little bit overdue.
1,500 days, somewhere around.
But there is a lot of competition, especially on Raw.
Oh yeah, it is crazy. That's why I was kind of hesitant to say that one, but I felt like lowest of the stock of the women that I had on here.
See, I got 3 more picks. I got the 6th overall pick, the 8th overall pick, and the 10th. And there's 4 more people here on my big board. So I don't really know the route I should take. I'm kind of going to let the draft unfold on its own. But with the 6th overall pick, I'm also going to take a Raw women's wrestler. And I'm going with Rhea Ripley, somebody who I think is 100% bound and determined to hold a championship in 2023. The last time she held one, I guess it was underwhelming compared to Bianca's reign. But she's going to get another crack at it, and I do believe it's going to go better than it did last time. So put me down 6th overall, Rhea Ripley.
Man, that was my right there with Alexa Bliss. That was right there. I just put her above, I guess you could say, and I went with Alexa on that one. But I do see a big year for her, of course, being involved with the Judgment Day and everything like that. But, of course, she's somebody that I can get behind as a women's champion, just period, you know, just seeing her presence, everything like that. But you showed me that picture of her with the long hair, man, and that definitely that was a curveball for me right there. I mean, of course, I saw the face, the features, and everything like that, but yeah, that definitely blew my mind right there.
Well, 7th overall pick. We each got 2 more now, so factor that into your big board and see how it's going to play out. But who you taking here 7th overall?
All right, man, I'm gonna jump over to SmackDown on this one, and I'm going to choose Jey Uso.
Oh, a tag team wrestler. Okay.
Well, I mean, tag team, but hear me out.
I took one in Montez, so yeah.
Whenever this stuff blows up, and I for some reason, I feel like it's going to be this year. It's going to be, you know, of course, Roman and Jay, they've had their issues, their altercations, and everything like that. And I don't know if the main event, Jey Uso, has been around for a good amount of time, but it seems like it's being said a lot more, I guess you could say, so I can see him having a good year this year.
That was a little bit of a curveball, but I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised. I mean, Jay, without a doubt, is having a career year. Even 2021 was phenomenal for him. So he's just, you know, he's never been better. He's never been in better shape. He is, for the first time in a while, the Uso in better shape, and he looks like he's the more superior one, and he earned that. So I think that 2023 could definitely be a pretty big year for him. I'll go ahead and write that down. Jey Uso, 7th overall for John Carrasco. So that leaves me here, number 8, and I'm going to go ahead and take another women's wrestler on SmackDown, Raquel Rodriguez, powerhouse. She's already chomping at the bit with one arm about to take Ronda Rousey's championship. Just wait till she gets healthy. If this doesn't go well for her, if she gets cheated out, because doesn't she have a match at the Royal Rumble with Ronda? Or are we just have me and you just been preaching about that, or maybe hypothetically talking about that?
I know she has one coming up, right? Because she's
maybe it's on SmackDown or something. Okay,
I don't think it is on the, but I think it is. I think it might be tomorrow.
Okay.
That match.
September 30th. Okay. Ooh, can't wait for that SmackDown. But anyways.
I really do think it is.
Yeah, I'm taking Raquel, man. She's just, without a doubt, on her way, dude. She's going to bag a Royal Rumble at some point in her career. She's probably going to bag a couple more championships. I don't think she's had a championship on the main roster just yet, but it's coming very, very soon. I promise. She's cut from the same cloth as Bianca, as Rhea Ripley. They're kind of that new era. Like we saw the 4 horsewomen, right? Becky Lynch, Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte Flair. They all came up, 2016-ish is whenever they all kind of came up to the main roster. Fast forward now, 2021, 2020, whenever these ladies came up, a new era, a new class. And, you know, they're definitely holding their own, and I think they're all going to be in store for a pretty big year. But I had to take Raquel off the board.
Yeah, that one definitely screwed me. That was my next step. But I mean,
I'm glad. I'm glad because that means I'm playing this draft out well because it is going to my. I only got one more pick. We both only got one more.
And
but
yeah,
I have two guys to decide from, and I am very happy with either one.
yeah, Raquel. I mean, she's definitely somebody that's kind of took the fast track on all this. Came up from the NXT. Had the little name change and everything. Had some complications with her moves and everything like that. Had to kind of change it for the PG, I guess you could say. But, I mean, that has all kind of stuck with me, I mean, she's been a wrestler that's kind of put a good little stamp in my book, I guess you could say. And, yeah, I can definitely see her having a good 2023.
Well, who's your final pick here? 9th overall. So this is your last one, though, bud. So you got to round out your roster here. What are you rolling with?
Okay, the last one. Top this off, man. I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes.
Okay. Big 2023.
I think he is going to have a big 2023.
You better hurry up and show up then.
Rumble, I mean, coming around the corner. I mean, he's, like I said, he came in. I mean, I didn't get it. I mean, but for some reason, people are behind him. It seems like maybe even Triple H is behind all this and everything, and he wants to kind of put him in a good direction to get towards that heavyweight title. So I think that he might be one of the people that take it off Roman this year.
Well, I don't necessarily think that you're wrong. I do believe that Cody Rhodes has a very good opportunity to show up as a return Royal Rumble entrant and, win the bad boy, have a phenomenal 2023 because he could win his first ever world championship in WWE, which is massive. So, yeah, that is a good final pick. I do believe that you hit your draft out of the park. Now, I'm going to cap mine off, my final pick, the 10th pick in this draft, with Austin Theory. He is somebody who I think is in store for a huge year. I mean, since he put down the selfies, since he's been, losing. Because that's the thing is, it's almost like a build-up by tearing it down is the way that you look at it, where they had to give him all these losses, humiliate him on public to where he is now. Just like you look at him, he's a lot more intense. He's way more serious with his promos. He's the United States champion, for Christ's sake. He's someone that, he's extremely young, extremely polished on the microphone. Let's not forget what he did to John Cena when they had their little run in backstage. So yeah, I don't have a problem with putting Austin Theory here as one of my picks. I think that he's still going to be in store for pretty big things. It wasn't just Vince McMahon that's high on this guy. I think Triple H is as well. And his push coming up in 2023 is going to reflect that.
Oh, yeah, man. That was definitely a pick that was up there. He was actually number 1 on my board, but I kind of just started going over it and everything like that. And I had to change it up. But, yeah, he was one of the top picks. I agree with that. I mean, he went from, that little kid to dang near grown up, whole costume, hair rearranging. I guess the beard kind of makes him look like a grown up, but I don't know, man.
Is there anybody on your list who you didn't get to pick, who you just want to give them a shout out? Because there's 2 on mine that I think are worthy of being at least an honorable mention.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd say at least 3 that would need to be said, I guess you could say.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with the first one from SmackDown, which is Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
I think, of course, like we said, we're getting it in slow little pieces and everything like that, so it's kind of hard to say if this is going to be a big thing, but, we're in a slow burn. I'm liking it, I guess you could say. So, we're in a good direction, but, yeah, that would have been a next step, if anything.
See, I'll go Santos Escobar. That's another one that I feel like he is very much staying under the radar, but he's going to burst onto the scene. His group, his theme song, everything about their gimmick that they have right now. He has lackeys, he has the help. They're a pretty dominant faction, or at least they're going to be, I feel like, and he's the leader of it. Even if he just stays in the cruiserweight division, that's still a pretty good place for him. Maybe creep up into the mid-card every now and then, get that mid-card championship opportunity some point, but he's someone that I think he's going to have a pretty good year. And then also Butch. Triple H loves Butch, from NXT, and having him on the SmackDown roster, being involved with the Brawling Brutes. I think that, having Imperium over there as well, they work so well together that we're just going to see banger after banger after banger when it comes to all the people who are involved on the SmackDown roster. But, I just had to give a quick shout-out, honorable mention to Santos Escobar and Butch. But, yeah, let's go ahead and recap this draft really quickly. Number 1 overall, Solo Sikoa. Number 2, LA Knight. Number 3, Edge. 4, Montez Ford. 5, Alexa Bliss. 6, Rhea Ripley. 7, Jey Uso. 8, Raquel Rodriguez. 9, Cody Rhodes. And 10, Austin Theory. I do believe we both had a pretty solid draft. I clearly went for the youth. I clearly went for the people who were trying to break through. You went for guys who were just in store for possibly a career year, which is just fine. There are two ways to approach this. There's more than one way to skin a cat, or more than one way to skin a cat, I guess I should say. But either way, this was a fun episode, a little fun exercise here, bonus content for you guys. We will be back tomorrow night to do the SmackDown review like usual. So that's going to be a fun episode. We got a John Cena match, for Christ's sake. Let's end this year the right way. So we'll get into all that tomorrow night. But yeah, just tune in for that. John, anything?
Well, man, I definitely just want to say, like, this was pretty interesting right here. Like I said, it was new to me and everything, but definitely excited to see how this all plays out, to see who can kind of go farther, I guess you could say. But yeah, man, appreciate you for having this little idea and everything like that. And yeah, let's keep knocking this stuff out.
Yes, sir. It was fun. Hope you guys all have a damn good Friday. Walk passionately in the direction of your dreams. Me and John will talk to you tomorrow night. SmackDown time, baby. So yeah, have a damn good Friday. Go Celtics. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.